Qué horror.
Qué horror. We don't pronounce the H.
Oh.
Please make that your phone ringtone.
Nah, we're going to put that in the intro.
Qué horror.
How many years have you been in this business?
In this business, quite a lot. Actually, I started working F&B when I was 14. Actually, I'm 36 now. So, yeah, it's been a while already. And I've been in China already 14 years. Yeah,
14 years.
yeah, a while.
That's a lot of experience.
Correct.
Okay, great. Then it's going to be a perfect fit for what I have to ask you. Being in the food industry, obviously you have a special relationship with food.
Yeah.
Not just the service part. And there's a lot of foods that resonate with people's personalities. It could be a good memory, a distant childhood, or something that their mother used to prepare. In your case, I'm guessing a lot of it is Mexican food.
Yeah.
And based on your experience, you mentioned you worked a lot in France, right?
Yeah, actually, I ended up in F&B business because back at the time I was a terrible kid, and my mom basically placed me in this school where my auntie was working, and it's like a technical school, we can say, like middle school, but it has a technical something, and so you get to learn something, like some skills, and that was food and beverage, tourism, and something else. And so I choose this one because there were two, and I was like, okay, I picked that one. Period. And I fell in love with the industry basically. And I was lucky enough actually to have a sponsorship, let's say. And I was brought to France to La Côte d'Azur for a year, but I ended up staying there for 5 years. So I studied culinary arts and management.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to open your own place?
Actually, as I say, I've been in China basically for 14 years. And at some point, it just to bite it up, and you are tired to work for someone else. I'm a workaholic, so if I'm gonna work 15, 16, 20 hours for someone, it's better to be for myself. And as well, the fact that since very little, I realized that I really want to have my own place. I didn't know how to say it properly back at the time, but I knew I want to have my own thing. My grandma, she used to sell tamales on her backyard, not backyard, on her front yard. And that was something that I used to help her with, packing the stuff and then taking the change and, being in the middle of the conversation between adults. I felt like kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's when it started to be lit up. Yeah.
Right. Fantastic. So you have all that experience. You worked in the industry for a long time. What was your initial business plan in starting Chihuahua?
Oh,
thank you for the drinks, by the way.
You're welcome. They were no business plan, actually. It just came up, we were working with a colleague, and suddenly we say, why we don't open something? We do something fun. And taco place came up. And of course, I'm the Mexican, right? And I'm the one with the, background. So we were like, okay, sure, let's see what we can do, and we came up with a concept. And I was basically the one to develop everything. So you walk through to the restaurant in Chihuahua. Everything you see, like colors, thematic, food, drinks, all that's me. I mean, that scream my name, basically.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like your baby.
Yeah. It's like my personality has been, my personality is basically in the restaurant. That's it. Yeah.
I see. Right. And coming from the Mexican background and having the experience in French fine dining, how does that affect your business management?
Oh, it's quite a lot. Why? Because actually, I learned a lot when I was in France. These people is just in another level of management, more because they want to optimize everything, so I learned a lot, not only as a professional, but as a human being as well. I learned how to manage a lot of things under stress. And basically, I mean, obviously they were the best years of my life professionally talking, because I was able to see how big places they were able to run such complicated things in the kitchen with such less stuff. I say that,
Mm.
So it was just everything has to be well thought to be sure it was operational. And that's amazing, actually. It's a huge achievement. So That's one thing. And the other thing is like from being Mexican, how it's affecting to the way I manage actually as well the restaurant. Well, in Chinese culture, I think, if I'm not wrong, they value a lot the family, and Mexicans too. And so at some point, the team is a little bit like, you need to talk to them a little bit like the mom, to guide them a little bit that way. But when the tough times come, there's French side just to take over, so they know like, oh, she's not joking, right?
Is that the moment
So
when you bring out the whip?
yeah, exactly. It's when I wouldn't say, but it's like a little bit the cliche of plates flying everywhere, and all of that. But yeah, you have to, that you have to um, kind of put the how to say the everyone back into their place. Like, okay, we are a team, we're cool, but just remember who we are, all of here, and it has to work like a watch. If a little piece is out of place, this will not work. So.
Of course, I think Mr. Ramsey wants to have a word with you, Chef Ramsey, about that. But yeah, definitely in this kind of industry, you couldn't be dealing with a lot of wastage, and it's
Yeah.
food wastage.
Yeah.
Which is like a sin.
Yeah, exactly. And in Mexico, the grandma, they don't let you stand up until you finish everything on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
French culture is like a don't waste food. So at some point, it's just like I got in this. It's just to merge those things, and it's the way I manage the restaurant. I try just to be sure we don't have waste, optimize everything, and to be sure actually for the staff as well there is a kind of balance at work and everything. So everything kind of runs smooth, but in a smart way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have your idea, and you want to open this restaurant. How do you go about finding the investments?
It's not. It is complicated, but it isn't complicated. Actually, one you ask someone, I have this idea, and actually, people a certain level of management when you arrive at a certain level in your career, let's say that, you start to find and meet certain level of people. I mean,
Right.
like with different profiles, and you start to, talk about what you want to do and what's your next step, and these people start to giving you some kind of advices and even guiding you through to the whole thing, and so it's how it started actually. It's like, I will have this idea. Do you know how I could? And actually, even though I was teach this at school, like, okay, how you need to do your fundraising for funds, blah, 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 it's totally different in real life. One of your friends could be a millionaire, you don't know, and then they're like, okay, here you go, 2 millions, and it could happen that actually all your friends, they came together and said, let's do something because we know your skills, we know how what you are capable of, because we've been friends for decades, let's say that. So here you go, and so when in terms of finding the money, let's say, it comes for a small company, it's not too complicated. You need to start to ask. So you're probably gonna knock 100 doors, 95 that will be closed, but 5 that will open, and there you go. You have to start by somewhere.
The fundraising starts closer,
Yes.
in the closer circles.
Exactly. And more because a lot of people say like, oh, you can go for a bigger companies, but bigger companies are not really interested in the small projects and tiny startups that they are unable to see the vision into a long term, and F&B is quite complicated because it's quite risky.
Very risky. I hear most restaurants don't really survive 4 years.
Yeah,
First 4
exactly.
years. The
Exactly.
filter.
Yeah, that's true. If you survive the first 5 years, probably you're gonna go for a decade. And if you go over a decade, then it means you've been doing something really good.
Yeah. Whatever you're doing, keep doing that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. So once you secured the investments and you got your business plan, what kind of regulatory or legal hurdles you have to go through?
In China, a lot of things. Well, for example, for a restaurant, let's say we have to apply for the business license, for the FDA, for food and beverage license, and then fire department, and then you can talk for hours about all the license that you need. But the filling forms is not the complicated side. Actually, the cultural implication on opening a business in China, it takes a big part of it. All these guanxi that you must understand how it works.
Guanxi, the relationships.
Guanxi, yes, is really important. Why? Because a good guanxi with your FDA district manager, it can make a whole difference between if they come to check you 3 times a year or they come once a year, sit and eat and say, you know what, let me check your fridges, but let's go through. You need to improve this, to improve that. Or the way that they approach you is really important, because the guanxi, it means, is not only you have a good relation, but you respect them. You need to make them feel you respect them. And I have to be honest for that, unless your Chinese is perfect, you need a Chinese person for it.
Of course, it's difficult to find common ground when you don't speak the same language.
Exactly. As the owner, you go, you say hi, you bring a drink, and you go through to things that, you has to know because you are the one operating, but you have to let, your right hand to go through to that. Yeah.
Okay. So if you had the magic wand, you could wave it and start again without the mistakes, what would you do?
Okay. What I will do, I think there is 2 things that I will do differently, which is don't work with the significant other, because that actually, to work in personal life makes it is just not for everyone. And even though I know I'm able to split things, because I used to work before as well with my significant other back in France. He was my chef and I was just the sous chef, So for me, the gelling, it was like, okay, it's work, that's fine. But maybe it's not for everyone, and that's something that you need to consider. So if you are not 100% sure, just don't do it, because that can put things on the rubbish pretty fast, and all the personal problems can be bring to work, and that's not cool. Yeah, that's one thing. Second thing,
it's a big one.
Yeah, listen, please, and repeat it, and again, back forward, and again, listen to it. Second thing, it will be actually that even though you're opening a place with good friends, people that you trust, you have to go business mode 100% in every sense. Because if you don't, you never know what is the agenda of other people.
There's no gentleman's agreement when it comes to money.
Exactly.
It has to be on paper, right?
Exactly. It has to be everything on paper, and you have to be sure, no matter what, more if you are the legal person, you have to cover yourself, because at the end of the day, if something happened, the legal person is the one that takes. And I will say that will be the 2 things I will redo. Be sure everything is on the paper, and if it doesn't follows, then I'm sorry, business is business.
All right. There's a reason why there's a clause in a lot of contracts about separation and termination.
Exactly.
Whatever conditions are.
Exactly.
What other advice would you give to somebody who's thinking of starting out or is starting out in this industry?
On F&B specifically?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't. No.
Don't do it.
If you're a psychopath, okay, go for it. But if you don't like Christmas, New Year's, and weekends, just to do it, no problem. No, I mean, of course, when we talk about F&B, when you are in F&B and you are in a certain level of F&B, it's because you love what you do, and you're passionate about it. And because one of the reasons that I personally fell in love with this industry is because it's so versatile, we say in English. It's like you can change from doing, for example, be in the kitchen, being at the bar, be on the floor, you meet people. I know by fact I wasn't made for 9-5 Monday to Friday. It's just like I can't deal with that. I feel so miserable. I mean, no hard feelings, but I feel miserable on that. I have to have certain level of stress in my life, so I know I'm made for this.
Well, they say that some levels of stress makes you live longer.
Well, maybe,
resilience.
maybe. Yeah, actually, maybe. So yeah, I really like meeting people, and it's true that I found out that when you're in a restaurant, you have. I mean, I don't want to sound like a Spider-Man or something like that, but when you're in a restaurant, you work in this industry, your service, your food, the attention that you put into the customer, it can make their day good or bad. You can basically make someone to break up in a date night, or you can help them to go through to a successful relationship or not ending that relationship. The best deals has been done around a table.
Right.
Wars has been and on a table and a dinner. So it's really important, and I think I take pride on that. Like when you do something good and people walk out of the restaurant and they're happy, it's something that really is important to me. It upsets me when someone's get out and says like, I have a bad time or something happened. But when they go out and they're like, I have a wonderful night and, let's come back next time, that's the best feedback that we can have.
Certainly. Yeah. A good night, a good evening with a special partner or anybody.
Yeah.
And some food. It's like a ritual. When a ritual done right, it like has such a huge influence on people's moods.
Exactly.
Fantastic. All right, I got a slightly bit of a curveball question for you. Do you consider yourself a good boss?
I think yes. Because I'm someone that been working in F&B for a long time. So when my feet hurt, it means the feet of my staff they hurt too. They've been working hard as I do, and sometimes I work harder than them because I has to set an example.
Certainly, yeah.
So I could say yes, but they can differ on the opinions because for sure, everyone has a different perception of what is good and is bad. But I could say that I sometimes am a little bit too indulgent to them, and sometimes I'm just too annoying. So there is the middle ground in there, yeah.
All right, you try to have the balance.
Yeah, I have to try a balance, yes.
Wow, funny. In our studio right now, we have your staff right here behind the curtain. Let us hear over there. No, I'm just kidding.
¿Qué pasa, el desgraciado?
I think with a lot of businesses, you need to have a community.
Yeah.
Like they usually say 1,000 true loyal followers is all you need to really get things going, because that one person knows what's the equation, like one person knows 200 people and it just keeps multiplying indefinitely, right? So how important is building a community for your business, especially in a place where the culture is completely different to what you're selling?
Okay.
So there's a challenge in that, but also retaining the community that will stand behind your back and support you throughout the difficult times, like post-pandemic moments, for example.
Okay. Look, I think it's an extremely interesting question because we are not from here, right? We're immigrants, so you have to take on the equation. You have to take in account the fact of it's not your culture, so how to tackle as well. You need the locals to walk through to that door and expend their money because you cannot be only living on foreigners. So yeah, the community is really important, and it's important to touch everyone. I mean, like not only Mexicans or Latin Americans, but everyone. That's why I think the most successful business, they have a common thing. They have this starting. Let's say this like a pool of customers that they start with it, and as you say, then start to grow. Why? Because someone gonna ask it to a Mexican, oh, you're Mexican, what's the best Mexican restaurant in town? And so people will say probably different things, but I know by fact, because I've seen in the groups, I'm not inventing myself this, Chihuahua always come first, But I think it's by the fact as well that we pride ourselves on simplicity, because I worked so long in fine dinings and to be on a tide, and then, people walk into the restaurant and they have a still after a day of work, whatever they has to think how to act in a restaurant. I think that's just insane. And so we pride ourselves in simplicity, authenticity, not all the menu because we have to adapt, but we have our core things that are really authentic Mexican. And I think that part that we keep the balance between things that Americans, they will love, French will love, Italians, we have a lot of Italians and French in the restaurant as well. And then those core stuff that are 100% Mexican, I think that's what makes us successful, because we're still taking care of our community, which is the core one, Mexican, then Latinos, and then foreigners, and then locals, and then things go that way. And I have to say that thanks to to the community behind us. Post pandemic, it was easier. We stay open because the community, and that I will be always grateful for that, honestly, because thanks to them, we went through to tough times several times, and that's amazing because when it's not your homeland and you find that kind of support, you know you're doing things right.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge of, or how do you overcome the challenge? Sorry, how do you overcome the challenge of introducing Latin food to local population? Like somebody who has no idea what this is.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an example because this happened often. At some point in the previous location, we became a hotspot for moms and daughters to come to have a lunch on weekends. And we had this actually mom and daughter that came over for a weekend date, right? But you could see that they were not from Shanghai. So the girl, she after say that she was studying in Shanghai and her mom come for over the weekend, and they have no idea what it was Mexican food, what it looks like, what it tastes like. So it was funny because when they walk in, I give them the menu, and you have seen our menus are really simple. They're an A4 paper, regular paper. So they arrive, I give them the menu. I tell them, if you have any question, please let me know. And as soon as I turn around to give the water, I saw them, they took out the pen and start to tickle, what they want.
Like the Chinese menus, right? With the tick boxes.
Exactly.
Right.
So I was like, no. You can tell me, what you need in Chinese. You can tell me what you need. You can order with me. You have any question? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's okay. And so I basically asked them, what are you allergic to something? Do you eat everything? Strong dislikes? And they're like, no. So I can order for you some stuff, and then I will tell you how to basically eat it, and that's it. And when I brought the food to the table, they have like a no clue. They were like, so how I eat with your hands? So I need to wash my hands. Yes, you need to wash your hands. Okay, do you have gloves? No, we don't use gloves. Because I was telling to them, like, gloves, plastic gloves, they take like 200 years to disappear from the planet. So we are not doing that, right? So it was, I cannot say that it's not a job because it's a lot of work behind that you need to tell them how to do and blah, blah, blah. But as well, it's part of experience, So I don't want to say that it's complicated or even a challenge. It's part of the whole journey of tell people what is your culture and how you do, because that's why they come to your restaurant. So the specific restaurant, which is Mexican food, because they want to have that experience, So you have to go all the show down and show them what is it. Yeah.
Well, I can attest to that. I mean, I've been coming to your restaurant for quite some time before we got to know each other.
Yeah,
and
true.
My Mexican girlfriend has been bringing me there, and the food is absolutely delicious. So
thank you.
All those compliments are very well deserved.
Thank you. I know by fact that maybe there is things to improve in the menu or things to improve into the service side, but we try every day to do our best, honestly.
Okay, so I would like to know a little bit more about the culture, as it's something that's quite foreign to me as well. What misconceptions about Mexican culture that you would like to correct?
Oh my God, we have a long list about that. I mean, between the sombrero, mariachi, mustache, and like we all sleep on the cac.
Are you saying that the mariachi are fake?
No,
they don't exist, like Santa?
No, they do. But I mean, it's not like all the music that Mexicans we listen is to mariachi. Like we don't sleep at 4 p.m. under a cactus with our sombrero. That doesn't happen. The one that we would like to correct, actually, if it was possible, it will be that Mexico is dangerous because at certain levels, yes, come on, I mean, everywhere you have your thing, right?
You have to be street smart sometimes, yes.
Exactly. So that's one thing. And second thing is that, I mean, at some point, yeah, when we say it's not as spicy, it is spicy. So stop to cry about it, okay? So when we say it's not as spicy and we're Mexicans, of course it's spicy. So just to don't say, you lied to me. No, for me it's not as spicy. That's it, period. It's the two things I would like to correct about it.
Okay, so comparison question. The tacos that you sell versus something that you can eat in Mexico, what's the level of difference in spiciness?
We do something quite mild.
Mm.
And as well, the size is like a twice bigger of what you usually find on the streets in Mexico. Because sometimes you heard like a Mexican say, oh, back at home, I can take 15, 20 tacos because the tacos are tiny like this, Our tacos are we do a serving of 2 tacos and 3 tacos, and the serving of 2 tacos is around 150 grams together with the tortilla, the meat, and all the thing. 150 grams is quite a lot,
It's like a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. So when people's like, oh, your tacos are tiny, I'm like, they looks tiny. Yeah, but actually once you eat it, there is people that cannot take more than 3 tacos and that's it, So I know our portions are pretty good. Our salsas, they're quite mild. We have salsas that are the one that no pica, the one that are not spicy as well, because we have to have a little bit of everything for everyone. But I have to say, I'm proud that actually customers been taking, okay, bring me something a little bit spicy, and they're happy to discover what the spiciness is.
Do you have like a red drawer with the spices in it?
No, but we have a sauce that is called the super spicy sauce.
Simple to remember. Okay.
Yeah, because we used to call it valiente, so it means it's a courageous one. The valiente sauce, but no one can pronounce it. So we say the super spicy sauce. And it's spicy, so a lot of people at some point after they keep on eating it, they're like, it's not spicy anymore. Like, no, your taste buds are dead. That's why you feel it's not spicy. But it is spicy,
So how about things about Mexican culture that you actually don't like?
What I don't like about Mexican culture? There is something,
We have other Mexicans standing outside the studio ready for you.
I saw you have a back door, so it's fine. Well, there is something, and I'm sure everyone can agree on it. There is 2 popular sayings in Mexico. The first one is like about it's involved a bucket and and crabs. It means, we say el mal del cangrejo, which means the illness of the crab, something like that. I don't know how to translate it. And this basically, when you have a bunch of crabs in a bucket, they start to pile up. And suddenly when the last one is about to be out, someone pull him back. And that's why you don't have to take care of the crabs, because even there are a bunch of them, they will never get out because they pull themselves down. So that's something
that's referring to people, isn't it?
Yeah, that refers to people. And it's sad, but it happened a lot. Unfortunately, in Mexican culture, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree with it, when you arrive to a certain level, then, people is happy to see you succeed until they don't. And it's when they start to pull, and maybe I will not say like they pull in a professional way because maybe they don't have those tools to do it. But like
happens in professional law.
Yeah, but for example, they try to tackle you in other ways, like how you look like. Oh, you look tired. Are you taking rest? You're like, no, I'm
like the
fine.
Little jabs, that people get in.
Exactly. So the things that you're like is totally unnecessary. Your comment is anyway. And sometimes you think it comes from a good place, but then you realize that it was totally unnecessary. And that's something that I think all Mexicans we can work on, because if actually we were really supporting each other, Mexico will be in another total level, honestly. And it's not only me to say it, a lot of people say that, It's not my like a single personal opinion. It's public knowledge.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. And the other one saying, this is interesting.
Yeah, what's the second one?
Is the worst enemy of a Mexican is another Mexican, And everyone say that, and we all know it's a common knowledge as well. Yeah.
Is that a historical thing or?
Are you saying, because actually, I don't know if you, but probably you don't know. That's Mexico's story.
I definitely don't know.
It's just to the, when Mexico was taken by Hernán Cortés, back at the time, colonized by Hernán Cortés, who took over Mexico, it wasn't the Spanish people. I mean, Hernán Cortés, he was the one that guided the battle through.
Right, like the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he guided the battle through with the rest of the ethnicities that they were feed up of the Aztecs. And so he just to make everyone mad. Everyone was already mad to the Aztecs because they were an empire. They were, I don't know how to say that in English, sanguinarios, they used to sacrifice people and chase people and all of that. And people was fed up already, paying tributes and all of that. So Hernán took that to his advantage. And then when they came together, all of them, they came together against the Aztec empire. Yeah, we say that. It was Mexicans basically that put down Mexico empire at that moment. So it's deeply rooted in us, I understand when you get this explanation, historical explanation is understandable, but I think it's time to move on.
Do you think it's nostalgia? People are like bittersweet kind of memories about, or I guess not memories. Not a lot of people. I don't think anybody's still alive from those times.
I think it's probably gonna be in the genetics. It's something that is in our culture. Somehow it has passed generation after generation, and I think it's just it become part of the culture. And until we don't get aware of it, until we are not aware, all of us aware of it, I don't think that's gonna change. Yeah, it's a social work. Let's say that. Yeah, and therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would be the thing that makes you most proud of being Mexican?
Okay. People and food. It's like it's contradictory. I know that.
Well, there's a saying: "Love the people, hate the food." Sorry, the other way around. hate the people, love the food.
When you come into Mexico, you want to stay in Mexico. If people love you, they just to welcome you home. They welcome you home. They open the doors of the house. They're gonna give you the food that they eat. They're gonna be taking care of you. Did you eat already? Everything is okay. Do you need help or something? And you will become part of it. You're gonna become basically a güerito, So I see your face. Güerito, what that mean? Okay. Güerito is basically anyone that is not Mexican. Güerito textually is a person that is white with blonde hair. Mm-hmm. It can be güerito or güerita.
Okay.
So basically anyone that is not Mexican is a güerito or güerita. It can be Mexicans, we can be güeritos too. It's basically going to be a body, a mate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We use a lot for foreigners in Mexico. So you are not anymore the British or Russian,
Right.
You will be the güerito.
You're one of us now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's something that is beautiful in Mexican culture. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the food, man. I mean, we're part of the UNESCO, or gastronomy is part of the human, how to say that?
We're going to look that up. I'm going to look it up. Put it on screen. Jamie, pull that up.
So the food is recognized by the UNESCO, which has been, it's a heritage on the world. Mm-hmm. So as the baguette, as the rum in Cuba, and that's some structures around the world, like the Eiffel Tower and the Greeks, whatever. So what's your favorite thing about Mexico? Have you ever been?
I'm not monetized on this channel, but I don't want to get demonetized for answering that.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm a big taco enjoyer for sure. Al pastor.
Okay.
It's al or el?
Al pastor.
Al pastor. Mm-hmm. Tacos and burritos. Definitely are probably one of my favorites. I do like the birria soup, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's quite nice. And the cervezas.
Cervezas? Okay.
Modelo, specifically.
Specifically Modelo. Yeah, actually, that's one of my favorites too. The dark one. It's beautiful, but they don't have it anymore here. Only the güerita. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the blonde one.
Have you seen that GIF of what it's like to be Mexican and then just use lime on everything? Like lime on your toothbrush, on the food, on the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
It's something that we do when we're...
I wouldn't put lime on my hair, but definitely lime on spicy food is a good mix.
Yeah, it's a magnifier of flavors. Lime, butter, and salt are magnifier. And,
is that how it works?
Yeah, it is.
It just like gives that zest, like bumps up the flavors.
Exactly. So that's why you put in your hair, it shines,
Well, maybe I'll try that if this looks bad on the camera. No. Okay. what are the key takeaways from our conversation for anybody that is starting a business, especially as an immigrant?
All right. So I will say that you have to understand that there is risk on it. You have to really know what it will take from you to open a business, because a lot of people think, oh yeah, I want to be my own boss and let's do it, whatever. And they just to think about the cool side of, say, I'm boss of this company, but they don't think about all the downsides that can happen. And I think you really need to sit down and put it and discuss with other people and with business owners as well. And you have to have a plan, not in a short time, 3 to 5 years. You have to have a plan for 10 years at least. Why? Because once you start a business, it's like your baby, it's part of your life. It's part of your soul. So you have to, it's not something that you're going to just to say, you know what, I'm bored already, let's close it down. No, you have to be sure you want to go down to that adventure. Yeah, you have to be 100% sure. Yeah. But I have to say something that my grandma and my grandpa used to say, con el miedo ni a la esquina. What that means is, if you fear something, you will arrive nowhere. Why? Because even you fear to, I don't know, take your bicycle and start to learn how to run with the bicycle. Just do it. You will fail for sure, and it will hurt for sure. But at some point, you're gonna get so good that you're gonna just roll. That's it. So yeah, even if you are afraid, just to go for it. Why not?
There you
but
go.
In a smart way.
Be smart.
Be
take
smart.
risks, but be smart.
Yes, be smart.
That's great.
Good lawyer behind you always. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's the secret ingredient.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. And what do you have going on in your life? What's the plan for the future?
I mean, keep going, Chihuahua. There is another projects that we want to develop. That we stop it because the post-pandemic, And for me, it's just important as well to find a little bit of a balance between personal and professional life. Because as I said before, I'm a workaholic. And as in a personal life and professional life, I give everything to whatever I'm focusing. There is no middle ground. I'm Mexican. That's no middle ground, So it is or it's not. So when you go fully. If not, it doesn't make sense just to don't doing it. Is as my teacher say once, be lazy and do it right from the beginning. But you have to give everything to make it right. So yeah, I hope things gonna go better and all kinds of senses like economics and then opportunities and then. Why not to have another Chihuahua somewhere or another concept happening, probably not this year, but next year, and then balance a little bit personal life, And that's all. Overall, I can't complain. I have a good life here in Shanghai. Shanghai is beautiful. It has taken us for a good adventure. I'm sure for you is the same. And I'm not leaving anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, it's just what. In short term and short and middle term, what do we want to do? Just to open other concepts and then keep rolling. That's all.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wish you best of luck in that endeavor.
Thank you.
Estefania, it was a big pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah.
Especially, I don't know what you girls talk about. I've been in several situations where you'd have a table of Russians in UK. And it's just ladies, they're talking about their own private things. And, I don't want to eavesdrop, but I cannot help it when I hear the language that I recognize.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, they're paying their bills. They were lovely guests, no problems. And when they just settled their bill, I said, "Thank you very much, ladies. Have a good night" in Russian.
Oh yeah, and they freak out because they know you understand. Yeah. That happened to me a lot before. Yeah. That happened to me a lot before. Like they're breaking up when you used to work in the fine dining on the Bund. They're breaking up, and there is someone speaking, both of them speak Spanish, or they're criticizing the whole thing.
Yep.
And they go so hard.
Yep.
And you are like, going and whatever. And at the end you are like in Spanish, que tengan buenas noches. Their face. Yeah.
Like, look, I'm sorry, but with your face, I can just basically hear the trumpets in the background, like the mariachi. They didn't realize, like, that lady looks Latino.
But the thing is, in the very beginning when I arrived to China, my accent, it was French. Because
Oh,
my
I see.
second language is French.
Okay.
So I used to speak English with a French accent.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when people look at I used to say Harry Potter and Hermione, for Harry Potter and Hermione.
I didn't realize that's what you said until you switched back into English.
Yeah. So it's something, And of course, when I say to people, "No, I'm from Mexico," they're like, "No, you're not. You're definitely not Mexican." So it was funny. Yeah.
That's great.
That was people. They were just a kind of not knowing, but it was good.